YouTube was in with it's your boy Zell back with another banger video. In this video, we got uh Devin Haney doesn't want to fight, says Eddie Hearn. I can assure you Devin Haney does want to fight. Um, and even if he doesn't, who cares? You know, he just got cheated. You know, people want to see him lose so bad. If you support Devin Haney, you want to see him win. We want to see him win. And we want to see him get paid well while doing it. So let's get it.
Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? So I just listened to this interview with Eddie Hearn talking about Devin Haney. And boy, oh boy, this man is throwing Devin Haney under the bus left and right. He talks about the potential fight between Devin Haney and Liam Paro, and everything he says about that situation is filled with contradictions.
I asked you last week about Devin Haney, who I spoke to, and he said he's open to a Liam Paro fight in Australia if the numbers make sense. That was about a week ago. Have things changed at all
Not
since
really,
then?
no. I mean, ultimately, when Devin says if the numbers make sense, that basically means the fight's not going to happen.
Okay, so it's true that when you hear fighters say, if it makes sense, I'll fight that guy. That's usually not a good sign. Not all the time, but sometimes that means the fight might not come to fruition. But here's the contradiction with Eddie Hearn. Eddie has never said this when it comes to Canelo Alvarez. And Canelo Alvarez, he has said that on multiple occasions.
It's possible. Why not? It's possible. Why
you're,
not?
You're a businessman, Canelo. I'm sure if it makes business sense, you'll.
It makes sense. I'm down. Do it. I don't care who is there. I'm always able to fight anybody.
So not only does Canelo Alvarez say the same thing that Devin Haney said, and Eddie Hearn once again defends Canelo for doing it, but Canelo Alvarez is asking for ridiculous money, like $200 million to fight against David Benavidez and $150 million to fight against Terence Crawford.
Because in Devin's mind, Devin's in a really interesting spot. Like, without Riyadh season, I don't know. Like, if I'm Devin Haney, I have to come back in almost like a bit of a confidence building fight. He might not like that term, but that if I was representing him and guiding his career, that's what I'd be doing. And the money for a confidence building fight probably don't really get him out of bed. And I think with Devin, sometimes you've got to strip it back a little bit and just work on, go back to basics and say, I need to kind of rebuild a little bit now. The biggest, or one of the biggest fights in boxing is Devin Haney against Ryan Garcia, rematch. He cannot go into that fight without having a confidence booster, in my opinion. But it's very difficult to get a confidence booster and get 4 million in having it. Do you know what I mean? So he almost needs to sit back and take $1 million.
No.
Okay, so you heard Eddie Hearn bring up some figures. He kept talking about $1 million that he feels that Devin Haney should take to basically fight, to take a tune-up basically, right? And then you heard him mention for $1 million. So what it sounds like is Devin Haney wanted to fight Liam Paro and he wanted $4 million. And Eddie Hearn didn't want to give it to him. And he was like, instead, I'll give you $1 million to take a tune-up fight. Or he was only offering Devin Haney $1 million to fight against Liam Paro. Guys, the contrast is so stark when once again, we look at the dichotomy of how Eddie Hearn treats a Devin Haney versus a Canelo. And no, I'm not trying to say that Devin Haney is supposed to be getting paid like a Canelo Alvarez. But what I am saying is Eddie Hearn is saying he doesn't believe that Devin Haney is worth more than $1 million for his return fight when Devin Haney hasn't made $1 million for a fight in years. The last time Devin Haney probably made $1 million for a fight was before he was even the champion at lightweight. So that's extremely disrespectful for him to say that to Devin Haney, especially when you consider the fact that when you look at Canelo, you guys remember before Canelo was forced to either take the PBC deal, which would have forced him to fight either a David Benavidez, an Errol Spence, or a Jamal Charlo, or he could take the DAZN deal, which means he had to fight Bivol and Golovkin a third time. Well, if you guys remember, before Canelo was given those options only, Canelo, he was trying to fight Makabu. That's who he wanted to fight next. And I wanted to play the clip to show you guys this interview or what Eddie Hearn said in this interview. Matter of fact, it was one of our new media guys who actually did the interview, but I can't find the clip right now. Now remember, Eddie Hearn, it sounds like he was saying that Devin Haney was not worth paying $4 million to fight Liam Parle for a
Cap.
title. So when we interviewed him, we asked him, are you guys willing to pay Canelo Alvarez $10 to $15 million to fight against Makabu? And Eddie Hearn's exact words was, we might even give him more. That turned out to be a lie. He was just trolling to defend Canelo when he said it. Because shortly after that interview, that's when DAZN offered words was, we might even give him more against Makabu. And Eddie Hearn's exact Canelo Alvarez $10 to $15 million. Because shortly after that interview, that's when DAZN offered Canelo the 2-fight deal to fight against Bivol and Golovkin a third time. Which means they were basically telling Canelo Alvarez, we can't pay you the kind of money you're asking to fight against a Makabu, someone that no one even knows. So the question is, if they weren't willing to give Canelo the kind of money he wanted to cherry pick, how come Eddie Hearn didn't say the same thing about Canelo that he just said about Devin Haney? He could have easily came out and said, you know, if Canelo wants to fight somebody like Makabu, he's going to have to take a massive pay cut. Because that's pretty much what he just said about Devin Haney. Eddie claims he wanted to give Canelo Alvarez more than $10 to $15 million to fight Makabu,
Nobody.
but you can't give Devin Haney $4 million to fight Liam Parle for a title shot and him going to Australia? That doesn't add up at all. And this is the reason why Devin Haney needs to make sure that he sues Ryan Garcia, because there's no doubt about it, that situation has completely messed his money up.
Facts. I think Devin Haney should go work with Turkey. Because Turkey gonna pay him what he's worth. You can't tell a man what he's worth. You know, only the market can tell a man what he's worth. So, I think Turkey can pay Devin Haney well and get Devin Haney big fights and pay his opponents well. But because we want to see Devin Haney win and get paid well while doing it. So look, let me know what y'all think in the comments, man. Like, comment, subscribe. Till next time.